Hello and good morning. You might hear a bit of rough sounds, but I'm currently driving on some rough road. Looks like they're going to be doing some construction on this here later on. And I just woke up at 4 a.m. Had some things to do this morning that I had to get ahead of to get done. And at the moment, just driving on to my next stop. And a couple more places I have to stop and go to. But I did upload one of the audios to my computer yesterday, and it didn't sound too bad, but the quality of it's not going to be how it was with my condenser microphone that I have set up in my apartment, because that's obviously for many reasons the quality is going to be a lot different, because I don't have to worry about the sounds of the road, the sounds of a car, all of these other things that affect the sound quality. But as I have said before, I'm just doing these now because I have half an hour of time where I'm just sitting here. And so I figured, why not just start recording something, talk about random things. And I worked for most of my life at a job that was not too far from me. It was within walking distance. And so I never really had to do much of any driving. And then later on, I got a job a couple years back. I think it was like 4 years ago. And it was maybe a 20-minute drive, which isn't far. And I would just think about random stuff on my way to work and from work. And I would think about the different things that I could draw, the things that I have to work on. It actually cleared my mind up a bit so that I could work on things when I got home, because I had more things set up and pre-planned, and just that 20 minutes to and from work gave me some time to just focus and think on stuff about things so I can get things done. Just that little bit of time can make a difference every day. And recently I started drawing. Before I started doing my drawings, I started writing in this kind of like a journal. I wrote down all the different things that I want to get done, things that needs to get done, some of my goals, the type of drawings that I want to do, the type of videos that I want to make. And I've just been writing that out in a journal, and then just marking things off every time I get something done. And it makes things a lot more efficient. And I don't have to have as much going on in my mind at the same time, so I can focus on things and get more things done more effectively and a much less anxiety and stress-ridden thought process. And I was doing that a couple years back, which was coincidentally the same time when I had a bit of a drive to go to work, rather than before. My job wasn't very far away. I could walk to work in about 5 minutes. Anyways, I think that little bit of extra time that I spend writing things down every day is helping me creatively, so that I don't have as much going on in my mind. I'm not thinking about as much stuff that's going to make me overstressed or give me anxiety about the day of what I need to get done, what I have to work on next. And it really it helps plan and map out everything for the day, for the week, even for the month, such as things that, bills or whatever needs done, things I have to pay. I don't have to try to constantly keep remembering that, because the more busy that you get doing multiple things, the more difficult it's going to be to try to remember all of that. And there's eventually going to be a point to where you're going to forget something here or there that's important. So just start writing things down. That's what's been helping me a lot more. And yeah, a lot has happened already in the past. What's it been? 3 years now that I've had my channel, my art channel, all my doodles and drawings I've been putting on there. And when I first started it, one of the goals was to just draw for the fun of it, just to create things because I enjoyed creating them, and not thinking or even worrying about too much of what anybody thinks or anybody's opinions, or being worried about if anybody's going to like what I'm doing, or anybody trying to change my mind in how I create or make videos or anything. I just started making videos and doing the drawings the way I want to do them. Because if you just do things the way that you enjoy doing them, if you are yourself, then there's always going to be some people that are going to enjoy what you have to create. If you just go out there and do things the same way everybody else is doing it, well, there's already going to be a bunch of other people doing it. You are going to have to compete then against people that are doing hobbies and activities that they have interest in, that they actually enjoy doing, and that's just the way that their personality is for that. But if you try to mimic it and be somebody that you're not, it's not going to be authentic. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to get tired of doing it. You're going to get burnt out and being somebody that you are not, and that's not going to make it enjoyable in the long run, because you're not going to want to do it anymore. You're going to think, why am I doing this? And then you forget why you even started in the first place. And you've got to make your reasons why more important while you're doing it. I just did it because I enjoyed it. I wanted to be authentic, just to be myself as much as I could be. And looking back, and when I was started making these videos about 3 years ago, they just had this some basic music on it, nothing too fancy or exciting. It was just a short 2 or 3 minute time lapse, at most 4 minutes, probably average around 2.5 3 minute time lapses of me drawing. And I would record this with my webcam, and then I would upload this to my computer. I would then edit that video down into a time lapse, but I had to use my processing power of my computer's processor, the video editor, to speed up the video. And at the time, the computer I had, it's the same computer in the sense that it's the same computer tower. It's the same, I switched out a bunch of different parts in it. I've got new parts in it now. But when I had the computer at the time when I was doing the video editing, I think I had some older Intel processor, and it was okay. It was pretty good for gaming, but not for video editing. I didn't have enough cores. Was just not made for video editing, and it really struggled with that. And it took like a 3 minute video took 2 hours to render, and then it took a while to upload because the hard drives were not that fast. I just had a basic hard drive. It wasn't an M.2 or a hybrid drive or a solid state drive. It was just your standard hard drive. And so the reading and writing speeds on it wasn't that fast, which made it take longer to upload, even though I had fast internet. So then I later on upgraded that from the old Intel to an AMD processor, which is an 8-core processor that I have. I upgraded my graphics card, upgraded the RAM, all of that. But before I could upgrade any of those parts, being that I went to an AMD processor from an Intel, I had to upgrade the whole motherboard, because you don't have the same socket for the processor, so you have to get a different motherboard. And when you get a different motherboard, you have to get a different RAM. And because I got a different motherboard and different RAM, I had to get a different graphics card, because the location, like where everything was fitting in there, was different. And those of you who know about computer parts, I think a lot of you probably do, but those of you that are really into building computers and know a lot about computers, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's sort of like having a car, and let's say you have a car or a truck, and you've got to get new wheels for it, new tires, new rims, everything. If you're driving some tiny little car, you're not going to be able to just put huge monster tire trucks on it, or huge wheels on it from a big diesel truck. What you're going to have to do is change the entire frame of it. I mean, you could put it on there, but you're going to have to change everything of suspension and all of that. So it's the same process of upgrading the computer. But anyways, back to my point was I upgraded all that, and then everything was working pretty good. Uploaded way faster, and now I could render, a 3-minute video in about a minute, and that was with my computer processor doing it. And so then I ended up buying myself a camcorder with time lapse, and it would take those 3-minute time lapses and it would render them within 15 seconds. Because it's not such a large video file. So that made it way more efficient. Then I thought to myself, I can make so many videos now. I don't have to spend so much time waiting for it to render, because before, when my computer was really slow at processing things and uploading and rendering, I had to wait 2 or 3 hours before it finished rendering before I could use my computer, because all of my computer's processing power was used up doing the rendering. So I had to just set another room on my phone and wait for that to get done. So once I'd upgraded everything, things were working good. I then, I actually got myself a DSLR before I got the camcorder, and the DSLR had time lapse on it and all that, which is the Canon T7i, and later on I got the camcorder after that. The DSLR time-lapse, there's not as much options on a DSLR for time-lapse. I would say if you want something for time-lapse, camcorder is going to be a lot better. They're going to last longer when it comes to time-lapse videos and recording videos for a long period of time. DSLR is going to give you the highest quality, but there's not really as much time-lapse settings and things like that. For example, my DSLR, and a lot of them, you can only do a time-lapse of 1 image per second or still, whereas with a camcorder, it can give you a longer time-lapse. Let's say, for example, if you're drawing for an hour, you can set it to make the time lapse longer. So if I was doing a drawing for an hour and recorded it with my DSLR, I would only get about, I think it was 30 seconds of time lapse video. But if I use my camcorder, I can record this same length of drawing. It's an hour long. I can make that at where it records 2 times speed, 4 times, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 60 times, 120 times, and I think it goes like 240 and something else. So I don't, I'd have to draw for 6 hours to get a 3-minute time lapse. Now I can draw for an hour and get a time lapse that's 3 minutes long. So I was able to make more videos. I didn't have to do drawings as long, so I could upload and make more. My computer's processing and uploading it faster. So then I started making more and more content. And then when I got the DSLR, the DSLR, then I got a camcorder. But when I had the DSLR, that's when I started doing drawing tutorials about how to draw with rotring isograph and fountain pens. And that was in the year of 2018, which was about, going on 3 years now, 3 years ago. That was when I really started getting into doing drawing tutorials and showing people how to draw. I was probably doing more than anything, reviews about different pens, technical pens, fountain pens, such as Lamy Safari, the Newler's Ahab, the Rotring Isograph. And then later on I got the camcorder, and that's when I started just recording random things, out going for a walk somewhere or something. And the DSLR, to zoom in, you have to have a certain type of lens, but the camcorder, you have so many different options. You're not going to get the top-notch, absolute best video quality possible for the same price, anything under, if you get a camcorder that's $500 and compare it to a DSLR that's $500, I'm not saying like if you compare a new camcorder and a used DSLR, that's a bit of an unfair comparison. I'm talking about new for both, or used for both. A $500 camcorder is going to give you way more options than a $500 DSLR for video work. If making time-lapse videos and recording video is more important to you, you're going to be better off with a camcorder. One, in that price range, you can get a much better camera for making videos, and time-lapse is more an option with it than you are a DSLR. Now, if you want photos that are important to you as well, you could, you should probably get a DSLR. But if your phone is already able to take really good photos, then I would go with the camcorder. So pretty much how I could think to explain this is that if you have a decent phone and your phone is really good at taking photos, get a camcorder. If you have a really cheap phone and your phone is horrible at taking any type of photo or anything, get a DSLR, because a DSLR will be able to do good photos for you and really good video, but you're not going to have as much options when it comes to zooming in and the time-lapse settings and all that. And plus, there's a time-lapse limit on a DSLR, whereas the camcorder doesn't have that. So I think the best combination probably is having a decent phone that can take pretty good video and pretty good photos. Most new phones, they take amazing photos compared to how phones used to be. So I'd say a really, pretty decent phone and a pretty good camcorder is going to do you better than having a bad phone and a good DSLR, because you're going to have more options. Because you can take the phone with you anywhere. You can have the camcorder set up to do time-lapse above your drawing area, and then you can just take the phone around. You have two separate devices that you can record, make videos, whereas with the DSLR, if you can't use your phone because you have a cheap phone that's no good, then the DSLR you got to keep moving around, which is the issue that I was having with it. That's why I ended up getting a camcorder, because I had to change the DSLR from being time-lapse recording setting above my, and I had to get a different tripod, set that up on my table, and it was a mess. I ended up getting the camcorder, and it helped me so much. And right now, I've been using my phone for doing the photos or a lot of video work, and then just using my camcorder for time lapse. Now, if there's a certain type of video I want to make, I will use my DSLR if I want the absolute best video quality, and it's not a really long video, then I'll use that. But I would advise having a decent phone and getting a camcorder. Now, if you've got the money, you can get all three, then go ahead and do that. Get a really good camcorder, get a good DSLR, have a good phone. That's just some of my tips for that. But I'm almost to where I have to be, and I know I'm going to have more random things to talk about later on. I've got some more driving to do later. But I mean, I've got an hour every day of randomly talking about stuff for videos. And I didn't want to just sit here. It felt like a waste of time. I want to get as much done as possible. Even though I'm talking to all of you, but at the moment I'm talking to myself. But yeah, that's my day so far. Had some coffee this morning, ate breakfast, and got up at 4 a.m. A little bit earlier than I usually get up. But it's been a pretty good day so far. I mean, I've only been awake for an hour. We'll see. I mean, my other job I used to have, I would get up around this time. I did that for about a year and a half, at least. But I'm almost at my destination. And when I do my next part of my driving and when I get home, I'm going to go through my list of stuff that I wrote down of the things that need done, or drawing tutorials and all that stuff. And then I will see about what type of videos I can make, and we'll just go from there. But I have arrived at my destination, and now I'm going to go ahead and go inside, but I will talk to all of you later, and let me know if you have any questions. You have a good day.